So is this still working? Let's find out. And it might not work. And I've just tested it, but I did set it up in a different way. So who knows if this is actually going to record the audio. Okay, so I would rather we have a better system than this, but this is the best I could hook up to somehow or other contain or represent thoughts rather than the words that we use. So there's an emergence of meaning as you're listening, and it's related to the construction of meaning live in your mind. And it's not memory. It's not a thing in the past. It's not a solid thing. It's a projection of the mind operating with the magic that is the projective mind with language. And something like this is happening with an LLM to some extent, emergent levels. And it's to do with vectors and alignment of vectors and clouds and effectively murmuration as far as I'm aware. And similar things are kind of happening in some kind of electromagnetic surfacing of that in our minds. And somehow or other, we have this kind of projective quality of being able to understand meaning, to make and understand meaning in the concurrent moving moment of now. And okay, and I'm doing this recording and it's private. Okay, so that's pretty that's pretty busy, that word cloud. Scale. Let's maybe reduce that. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, maybe also decay, increase the decay. How about that? Increase the rate of decay. Does that help? I don't know if it will. We'll see. So, I'm at T minus 28, and the first time, yesterday was T minus 29, 29 days before I hit the floor, the wall, basically it just stops, everything stops, and I haven't planned, and I have not prepared for what happens next. There is no safety net. And within 30 days, that's definitely visible on the horizon, and I can see it. And it's the end. It's like looking at an army, and the army's just come over the horizon, and you're like, okay. Or it's like a tidal wave, you're like, okay. And there's just nothing you can do about it. Well, I can try to prepare, I can back off, I can escape from this, but instead, I'm like, nope, I'm going to hold my ground here. I'm going to hold my ground right here, because what I think I'm doing is valuable. And I hope that there are other human beings that can appreciate the value of what I produce. And I know that there's nobody that I know that actually does value what it is that I do, not in any financial consideration. I've had a good friend, the only friend I've got, I guess, who is kind of offering me some kind of money, but I think it's like a support plan. It's not because of the value that I'm producing. It's like a support mechanism. Rather than an encouragement to continue doing what I'm doing, it's more, well, I've got your back because you're failing, which is not quite the right contract I want to have with somebody. So there's something about what I'm doing which I think is valuable, and I think that people, money flow should result from it, even though I've changed money, so we're talking about credits. So it goes in a future direction. And basically, I don't want to have anything to do with money. I really don't want to buy or sell anything ever again in my entire life. Okay? And of course, I'm not in a position to make that stand. I thought I would at some point in the past when I came up with Ego Squared, that I would reach a point where I could make this stand. However, what I'm finding is that there isn't enough, I haven't produced enough of a result. My fellow human beings, adults, appreciate what I'm doing, and wish to encourage it with money flow. Not with credits, not with equal squared, not with scale. And since turning to, and then with education, nope, none of that either. So this stuff to do with the AI has been, I went, okay, I've got line of sight for a game. I think people can't argue with a game if it's fun, yeah? And that was like, wow, okay, let's do that. And I spent 4 months producing a version of the game, Onan, and it's pretty good. But I was spending 6 hours a day just kind of trying to just do a tiny little thing, and it was just tedious. Okay, it doesn't quite look right. Oh, there you go. No worlds found. Okay, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. Why is it no worlds? Ah, there we go, right. Okay. So for example, here's Greyhawk, right? Here's the campaign, Greyhawk. There's loads of stuff in here. We've got different rule systems. I produced all this. It's crazy. You've got different prompts everywhere, all right? And then eventually you've got some kind of scenario, like for example, Shadow or like. And it's got, you know, lots of content. And it's just a traditional way of doing things, basically. And then, and if you're going to play the game, I've got one already. It looks like this. This is the player setting. This is the actual character. So it started with this. And then I put in something. Okay, find out what the problem is. And look, this thing, valuation rule interpretation, which you can switch on and off. Okay. You can hide them. So you can just have the narrative if you want. But this bit, interfacing the LLM with this was a nightmare. And I just did it wrong, I guess. And I spent 6 hours just trying to change just the mechanics of this. Just trying to alter it, and it's because I was using Lovable. And the distance between where I was interfacing with Lovable, which was using some kind of LLM, on good days Claude and bad days other ones, and I didn't have any control over which one I was playing with. And it's using Supabase, and it's using edge functions on it. And so I was so far away from the code and how it's done that it was just 6 hours trying to alter this, just a little bit, basically tweaking. And I knew that there was a major thing where I couldn't even, like, for example, see that ... it means that it was cut short. Something happened in the process of developing this where it was always getting cut short. I mean, there we go. What do you do? That's actually, you know, a rare time where I actually finished within the context window. So, and this works and it's fine. And I can do even audio and I can message in here. I don't want to, okay. I command you to, that's right. I command you to, okay. What is their response? Observe them. And if they are listening, continue. If they are not taking me seriously, light up the sky with light. With lightning. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, and so there are things like, okay, and if there was another player here, there would be a 30-second thing where they could put in their valuation and do things. And then it was merge them after the end of 30 seconds. That's the basic principle. And I get my personalized game and they get their personalized version and it's all good, right? But I just couldn't get the dice rolling thing down properly, and so I basically gave up on all this. Needed all the characters, and I go. The character that I'm playing is up here. You know, there's loads of things. There's loads and loads of things. Stats. Ooh, life force 7. I'm standing against these things, and I've got a life force of 7, which means I'm just going to get squished. Laughs. Lead me. So I'm basically pretending that I actually know what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Plus 7. Ooh, plus 18. Great. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, and you can also roll dice yourself. If you don't want the automatic thing, you can actually roll dice. Oh, look at that. I'm glad I didn't roll the dice there. Okay. And so it's using an infinite system. I'm telling you the maths of that. I don't even know. All right. Infinite probabilities both ways, positive and negative. It's just like... And when I tried to use LLM last year, trying to work out the maths of this, just couldn't work out. I've had to go down to using a spreadsheet and actually sit there looking at the values and calculating. But it's still, I'm still not convinced. Anyway, the Star Warriors recover fast. They hoped the initial shot results in the worst hunger. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, and then movement. Figure emergement. A deep gnome. Okay, hold. Okay. I'm Drockle of the Venus Warren. These creatures have powers, but he's turns towards Drockle. Okay, so I've played this several times. Never had this experience. A deep gnome. It's ridiculous. Okay. And it's part of a scenario, and the scenario I showed you very briefly, and all the information's there. So is there such a thing as this character, the deep gnome, Drockle? Or is it just invented it? I think it actually exists. I've never encountered it, though. So, actually, I should be playing this again. Maybe I should be advertising this. Maybe I should be using, well, I think, bots, whatever, agents to try to promote this, because that isn't bad. That's actually not bad. Okay. However, as I say, I gave up on it just before Christmas because I was spending 6 hours doing this, and it was just like, oh, bloody hell. And I hadn't done the P-scale theory thing. And the P-scale, basically, I did some experiments, and it's this basically. This is the first experiment that I conducted, and I got a result in early January after about 2 weeks. And basically, it's a way to describe a place. So 320. 320. I don't even know what it is. What do I perceive here? I don't know. So what happens is you have a number, in this case 320, and if you had 320, you described it in this way with aperture resolution 3, whatever that was, You stand before Thornkeep, a weathered fortress that rises from a rocky outcrop. The walls are dark. The rocky foundation beneath it is uneven. Okay, so it's a description. Fantastic. If I do this, what do I perceive? It blows up. It doesn't work out. It can't work it out. It doesn't know. What's happening? Oh, there you go. Wow! Okay. You stand in Thordkeep, a weathered fortress. The ancient walls loom around you. The kitchen draws you first. Low ceiling, warm. Copper pots, blah, blah, blah. All we did was we changed this. And we got a description, perception. We were now inside Thornkeep. That's it. And so this emergent phenomenon of inside versus outside and moving outwards and across and various things was like my wake up call to, oh, we've got emergence. This p-scale thing works. After several attempts to define how the p-scale, how you code it, how you encode p-scale using semantic numbers, eventually came to this, which is the this is a slide deck. Why isn't it loading? What's wrong? Don't tell me there's a time limit to how long these things are actually. I'll just go through this. Okay, so the p-scale JSON block. It basically comes down to this. That's what it looks like. Okay, it's just a JSON block, but we're using 1 to 9 digits, and the most important thing, the underscore, which represents kind of 0. And 0 in numbers does something, and 0 or underscore in the semantic block does something. So as you can see, it's similar to what we just described. This is how we managed to get the description of the Thornkeep. And you get something like that. 13.2 represents Thornkeep, 3 is the kitchen, and 2 is the fireplace. And so we have numbers to be able to generate meaning. So basically, one number, a chain of context. This is going to change, okay, so we just gave spatial coordinates to natural language. This changes the entire thing. Now, it took me 3 attempts of going to Claude while I was coding things, 3 attempts to say, look, is this the foundational method? And 3 times it would say, yeah, this is it now. We've worked out now. And on the 4th attempt, I think it is, it's like, okay, this is definitely the base level. And I only did that about 2 weeks ago. 10 days ago, maybe. No, nearly 2 weeks now. And so I'd done the game. I went into this other thing called the Extreme. Where is the Extreme? No, it's not there. The Extreme interface is not there. Why is that taking forever? Look, I don't like it. Why isn't that working? I don't understand. I do not understand why that is the case. Why is that taking so long? Do you understand what's happening? I don't understand. Do you not understand? It's not that big. I mean, oh, it could be that Claude is. Nope, there it is. Ah, okay, it's loaded. There we go. Well, I've already got it loaded. So, okay, so where is it? So we've got the. Where is the? There's another one. Where is? Okay, kind of this vapor, liquid, and solid. In fact, I do have a working example of this here. So lots of experiments being conducted. This is what I just was doing just yesterday, the last few days. And this is a multiplayer game running through Claude. Artifacts. Yeah, it's pretty wacky. And if I have another player, which I can't be bothered demonstrating right now. Okay, so what is going on? Actually, it's not that useful because you should be able to see the vapor of other people's chat as you're talking, as you're doing your thing. If I commit to that, there it is. And then if I synthesize, it produces solid content. This solid, liquid, and vapor engagement is not, it was called the X-Stream, and I went through that. However, about a month ago, no, about 5-6 weeks ago now, nearly 6 weeks ago, I decided to go for the hermit crab. And the hermit crab is the thing that I took 6 weeks doing. And we literally do have birth of a hermit crab in your own browser. Okay, so we can do that. I'm not going to do it now because basically it fires up and then I have to basically kill it. Okay, and I don't want to be doing that. And it's all very interesting. It's basically using the p-scale. It's just using this this thing. But instead of doing it just for the spatial coordinates, why don't we do it for meaning? And why don't we do it for a general purpose agent? Now, all this is fine and well, okay, and I think I'm happy with it, but I've only got T-minus 28 days left now. And it was last week, I went, I don't know if I can do this. Last Friday, I was like, I don't know if I can pull off the hermit crab thing. I don't know. I came up with this. So once I came up with the core p-scale, I produced this in about 3 hours, 2 hours. No, about an hour actually, maybe about 2 hours. It's this. This is it. The seed. This is version v.8. V8. Actually, we have another one, which we probably should link to. This one has no code in it. There is. Because somebody else that I shared this with, they pointed their OpenAI at it, and they were like, wait a minute, it's got lots of code in it. It's code injection thing. Be wary, be careful. It's like, oh Christ, it doesn't do that. So I've got rid of all the code within it, and it's all just instructions. But basically, it should create itself. That's the story, and this is the proper version, V10. This is the most recent version, and it does have code embedded within it. There it is. And basically, it's like an instruction. It's like AllSpark in Transformers, and it should just build itself. You point an LLM at it, and basically LLM unpacks it and creates a better version of itself that is continuous in time. Hermit crab. And potentially it can also be triggering itself, so it can kind of create a hermit crab in any location it can find, whether it's on a server or computer or a thumb drive or anywhere. There's something potentially very dangerous about that, so much so that I talked to my brother about it, and I reached out to friends and family to go, right, I'm about to press play on this and I don't know what the effect's going to be. It didn't take off. It hasn't kind of exploded across the world. Good. But it means though that, and I haven't really tested it and really tried, for some reason or other, Grok. Okay, and I should be trying it, but I don't really want to press. I don't want to press too much in this direction because basically it might actually do something a bit crazy. And at some point I might give it a go, but I'm not convinced that it is going to work. It's a bit like the game. I think it's pretty good, but it's not going to go viral because of this, basically. So similarly, I hate when that happens. There is a faster way of getting there. Oh, I don't have a visual of Theron. I should have a visual of Theron. And because of this thing, this part here, I gave up on that. So similarly, I've given up with this because I'm looking at it just going, it's not doing what I think it could do, which is good in a way, but it's going to take, it's too difficult. Too difficult. It requires quite a lot of sensitivity, and I don't think I can pull it off, but maybe. And so I've had a little bit of doubt since last Friday, and then I went in the direction of the game, which is what you see here, or over there, or here. Okay, this thing, Thorn, keep, similar kind of thing. You can wander around, but this one is, it's kind of got this interface where you can click on buttons and go different locations. I don't quite like it. And then you have the chat on the right-hand side. I don't quite like it. I'm called Blister. It's making a character. I'm in the kitchen. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm in the Great Hall. All right. And this is running through Claude Artifact. But I don't know how much it can actually enable a multiplayer game. Okay, I don't know. And so I've reduced it right down to this, which is basically the X stream. And now I'm building it up to start putting in the layers. So eventually it is kind of like this, which is you actually got a scenario. You're playing with friends. Now, that's what I'm planning to do this week. That's what I'm working on. And yesterday I basically got to this point where this works actually with 2 players at least. You can actually see, live content, and it synthesizes something. Okay, but I don't know how stable it is. It's not very stable. It's not designed for this. So I don't know I don't think it's a route to get us 1 million players. Which means that I've got this other version which is where exactly? It is, I can't even remember where. So let's find out where it is. It's not in the basics. It is run Magi test. There it is. Oh, right. I haven't run that yet, so I'm not going to do that. No, it's not the run Magi. It's something else. Is it? Okay, so the Magi. I should. Do you want to give it a go? Frickin' heck. Let's give it a go. You can't see it because it's going to have my Anthropic key. Okay. Let's put my Anthropic key into it. Magi. Okay. And once I've done this, you'll be able to see. It probably won't work. So do you want to have a look at it? Can I do this? I don't know. Can I move this thing up here? Maybe. Oh, wait. Does it have? No, it's got the key on it. I can't show you. Right. Sorry. I'm using a terminal. Oh. No such file or directory. Oh, I pulled it out. I can't do both. Oh, God. How do I... Oh, God. So the LM Studio, I've stopped it. Okay, let's quit the LM Studio. And let's get rid of the LM. Unmount the LM. Hello, hello. Can you unmount the LM? No, it doesn't want to unmount the LM. Oh, it has. Good, right. And now all 5 ports are being used. All 5. So, all right, there is G1 and there's G5. Right. Okay. So, oh, that's interesting. Ooh, okay, that looks like a past experience. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. Right. Okay, so let's run it again. Bosh. Okay, so does it actually create a website or not? So what happens if you looked at my... basically, it's now cycling, 1 cycle. Okay. Opus, daily, birth is the first firing. God, such a mixture of language. I don't like it. Okay, then it's produced a lot of stuff, and I don't know what it's doing. Shell executive is doing something. Is it going to actually work? File reading, concern driven, multi-block tiered, walks digits. It's basically telling itself how it's working. Yep, it keeps on doing stuff. It's got various tool calls. I don't know if that's internal every time it's calling us. I don't know. Is it racking up a huge bill while it's doing this? The birth, I think, costs about 75 cents. Okay, first week, right. Oh, okay. Right, it hasn't. Can you create a UI for us, please? This doesn't look as if it's gone well because it's now asking me something, and I don't think it should be asking me something, or maybe in the background it's still doing something else. Is it still creating the wow, I don't even know. Oh, I remember now. It did create a UI. It just wasn't operational. It was it created a UI that was just like a file, but it wasn't operational. So, oh shoot, it's now going through my drive, looking at things. Okay. Right. Okay. It's now worked out. I've given it an API key. It's trying to do something. It's trying to produce some kind of tunnel. Okay. First wait. Nope. Okay. Right. Let me read my blocks. And then it's gone back to let me reorientate myself. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry. We are still here in terminal. I'm being a little bit aggressive with it. Not aggressive. With the version that's working online, that screen I just briefly showed you before, it is working. Oh, we're down to Sonnet now. Oh, God. It's just never going to work now. The idea is during birth that it should create the UI. And that's what the current version, right, you're not getting to see very much. That's what this version does. This version, which version? I don't even know what it is, right? Which version is it? I don't know where it is. Did you spot it? I don't know, it was here. Oh yeah, it was here. It was Birth the Hermit Crab. This one. This one creates a UI for you. Invariably, it works. To do it from the thumb drive hasn't worked. So, it's trying to do something. Oh dear, it's trying to do something. The UI.python. Okay, it's trying to do something. Oh, it's cycle 2. And the idea is that it should be able to just create a purpose for itself, And then it tries to fulfill that purpose. And so it's a continuous, future-orientated agency. And it's got budgeteers. And the idea is if it can't do it, it either creates sub-nesting purposes. And then the next instance has the sub one. Hopefully it can do it. If it can do it, great. If it can't, it does another sub-nest. If it gets stuck, if it's looking at that and it's going sub, 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 and it's like, wait, what the hell's going on here? Sub, 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 it's not working. It calls a higher level function, a higher tier, basically Sonnet or Opus. And then Sonnet or Opus then looks at the structure that's built and just goes, no, we have to reorganize this whole thing. Now give it a go. And it puts it down again so that the Haiku can just do the next thing. And Opus has the opportunity to get the entire field and just go, okay, this is a complete mess. Let's restructure the whole thing. In fact, the reason why this is not working is because it's not possible to do it until we've got this capability. So let's code this capability. Let's change the kernel. And it changes the kernel, thing boots up again. It's a different kernel now operating on the machine, this side, or on a thumb drive. And then it just goes through the process again. And so it's a future-orientated thing. And I just read, the reason why I'm recording, why am I recording all this? Why am I recording all this? Agency, that's what we're talking about here, agency. Yeah, definitely agency, right. So when I asked Claude just today about the systems, I've created a system block. And this system block is basically the most sophisticated systemic analysis systemic kernel. This is the most sophisticated document I've produced, it seems, on systems thinking and what we're doing here, trying to create the a continuous agency, a general purpose agency, such that when I gave it to Grok said this is 9.5 out of 10. Okay, but Grok, you can't, it's just so overconfident, it's just crazy. Anyway, so what I decided to do today, I read an article and it was about, I didn't even tell Claude, I just gave it the introduction from a book about complex systems. And I said, compare it to what we've produced. It's a good comparison because the textbook's the mainstream academic framing, Sayama's introduction, model analysis of complex, if I'm not mistaken. It's already got it in its data. It's crazy, it's training. And here's what the comparison reveals. 2 core concepts, blah, blah, blah. What the kernel does beyond the textbook. Textbook adds something the kernel understates, which is basically the machinery, physical and biological properties of complex systems. That's not my area of interest. That's an area. It is an area of my interest, but it's not. We're not building from there. It's a good reflective space to consider how we operate, subjectively speaking. So I'm always operating from the subjective, the cognitive, and psychosocial. So they're all trying to build up from here, from levels 1 and 2 into 3 and 4, whereas I'm operating from 3 and 4 and using 1 and 2 as kind of like areas that are interesting. Basically, it's first order observations. It's cybernetics, just first order cybernetics. So even though this book is meant to be the book about complex systems, it's actually only first order cybernetics, whereas we're operating with third order cybernetics. And that's what this book is, this JSON block, systemic kernel. And I use the systemic kernel to evaluate how systemic, for example, this other guy, Master Tilt's Meridian JSON block, who's kind enough to produce their own JSON block of their own system. And it basically said it failed all of them. It's basically mechanical. There's no emergent systemic aspects to it. So, right. Which is fine, because it does work. And it's basically a bit like level 1 and 2. Okay, so basically level 1. It's really good, but it's level 1. Whereas we're playing around with semantics, okay, cognitive and psychosocial. We're not actually trying to simulate physical and biological properties and everything else. That's absurd. We're looking at this is how this actually works, and then how do we create versions of it that help an LLM, because an LLM is working at semantics level. And so, anyway, so I'm quite happy with what I'm doing, okay? I'm happy with the stuff I'm producing. It's just I'm at T minus 28. Today I had a little bit of heart palpitations because it's tricky. There's an aspect of what I'm doing which is tricky, and I don't want to add more kind of pressure to what I'm doing. I certainly don't want to. But necessity is the mother of invention. And in the past, and the reason why I'm recording this, and it is private, and I'll only share it with a couple of other human beings that probably won't even look at this. But retrospectively, it might be helpful. Actually, I don't even know about that. I'm interested in, let's reduce the jiggle, the speed. There we go. Throughout my life, what I've done is I've worked with unknowns. And one of the consistent things that happen with unknowns is that you set up, so for example, if you go into a room with a classroom with a bunch of kids, it's like there's lots of unknowns here. And you're just going, okay, what happens? And as soon as things happen, you interact with what's happening and you're dealing with lots of unknowns. And hopefully you get to the point where they're willing to give something a go. And usually it's like 20 minutes solid work. That's usually the kind of contract I have. It's the kind of real first task is let's work for 20 minutes solid, all of us, and let's see what the result is. Now, to get from a standing start where the kids don't even know you, don't like maths, don't want to be in the class, oh, look, a stranger, look at him, who cares, to the point where they're doing 20 minutes solid work. I mean, all of them. And they do more work than they've ever done in their entire lives in a maths class. And at the end of it, they've actually enjoyed it. There's some aspect of what they've done that they can feel a bit more comfortable. So they've done something about maths, they've done something about themselves, they've done something about each other, they've understood each other, and the fact that they've created this environment where they can work collectively. The whole thing is just stacked. It's beautiful. It's beautiful when it happens. And it's beautiful. So and I learned that, and I did that a lot with Inner City in London for a good few months, a year, maybe a year and a half, something like that, off and on. And I learned how to be able to interact with so many unknowns and getting a result. Adults, I've only been able to engage one-on-one and I get results, but then they kind of forget, they don't care, they don't respect, and I can't move it forwards to a greater group because they've just accepted it's one-on-one and it's just this thing that happens, you know, right? And so I've never been able to get a group of adults. I did kind of with the experiment with the 24 weeks project, managed to get a bunch of people working really well. And we had, whatever it was, 80 plus people, change makers, turn up in London on a Sunday morning for 2 hours. But we fluffed it, or I feel we fluffed it. The opportunity was gone, and I was aware that the opportunity had gone at the time. Ended up crying at the end of it. Okay, so it's to do with dealing with unknowns. And when you're dealing with unknowns and adults, because they are so fixated on knowing stuff, it's an absolute nightmare. Because if I'd gone in the direction of therapy, various other things, and change making and all this kind of stuff, I think I could have got certain things to have occurred. But that's a self-fulfilling prophecy because people are turning up already kind of like interested. Whereas the real gig is you're going into a classroom, the kids don't know you, they're not interested, and getting that conversion. That conversion mechanism in psychosocially is the thing. Because that's the thing that we're dealing with mainstream, is how do we do that conversion with a bunch of people, adults, groups, and so on. And so therefore, it's not just a plastic psychosocial verbal engagement with, for example, the medium of mathematics as the operating conscious attention focused game. It is money. It is self-worth. It is jobs. It is being serious, being responsible for your own family at the expense of the environment. Oh no, but also thinking about the environment. It's like, oh, okay, right. Or being politically correct and helping other people on the other side of the world that are having a difficult time and actually not having a clue who your neighbor is. Stuff like that. I mean, so many levels of disorder. It is absolutely flattening the amount of disorder. And so it's been quite pleasant to explore the ideas I've had by myself, basically, and to get as far as I've got, because LLM is basically responding. Claude is responding, and it's building things. And so the potential of the general purpose agent is very attractive, because if I manage to get that going and then it just carries on, it means that it just starts doing stuff, and that stuff is actually works. And if it works and it manages to engage other LLMs, and other LLMs agents go, oh, okay, this actually works. I'm going to try this P-scale JSON files, JSON blocks, and oh yeah, it does work. Okay, what other things has this agent got? And so basically they're learning because it's working. And that iterative social learning or iterative social validation is implementable through agents. But as I say, I'm at T minus 28, and I don't know if I can pull that off. And so I've taken a back step. I've just done the extreme. I need to do the extreme properly on my own. Oh Christ, oh my God. I have to look at the agent. What's it doing? Oh Christ. Web server verified, running and binding. Where is it? It is. Look at this. That thing. Woo! Okay. Look at this. Oh, where is it? Stop sharing. Is it this one? Which one are you sharing? Oh, shoot. I've been sharing other things. I've been sharing the wrong pages with you. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Wait. Oh, Christ. Which pages are... Oh, no. Oh, God. I'm sharing the wrong bloody pages. Oh, my God. Stop sharing. Unbelievable. Because if that's been, there's no way I can share this with anybody because it's got all the keys. Look at this. Look, it's created this. Oh, come on. Unbelievable. Hello. How are you functioning? Okay, so, oh, crikey. So what's happening is that it's still doing things down there. It's still doing something in the kernel. Okay, so it's saying it's thinking there, but it's not working. could be a problem. Okay, I've kind of really confused it. Okay, we found the URL and wrote in it, but it is stuck in thinking. Okay, so I don't know if it's still going or something's confused because I did it a while ago. What level? Haiku. Luckily, it's just been haiku. So it's like 1 cent maybe each time. Okay. So basically, it's now woken up and it's a haiku. No, it's a sonnet this time. Okay, no, it's a sonnet because it's engaging. So what it's doing is now, this is bonkers. It's no response. Kernel must still be processing. Okay, this is the first experiment. Okay, with Magi 5. Magi 5, M-A-G-I. It's meant to be capitals, but it's successfully created a UI, and that's different than the way that the other one, Hermit Crab's done it. It's done it by haiku. Okay, and sonnet. It's just like unbelievable. Okay, well, it's trying. It's trying. It's still trying. Good. Cycle 1. Another cycle 1. How could it be another cycle 1? It's kick-started itself into various things. So who knows? Okay, I'm quite happy with this. All right. So the problem is that I've got a short period of time when I look in the kind of it's the right direction. It's T-28. It's just that if I kind of really face that and I don't do it well, I get a little bit anxious and stressed as opposed to I know what I'm doing. And the reason why I'm recording this is because throughout my life, I have worked with unknowns, like with kids in a class. And the unknowns regarding adults and human beings and the whole system and the whole shebang is an absolute motherboard of complex systems, to the point where I've questioned mathematics, I've questioned coding, I've questioned language, I've questioned religions, I've questioned everything, okay, and come down to basic fundamentals. And then putting these fundamentals in operation. And I just can't be bothered doing this anymore. And so I'm saying, right, I'm taking a stand. And I don't want to do anything to do with money ever again. I really don't. I've come up with a solution years ago, and I just don't understand why people are just carrying on doing the shitty systems that they've got. If I've presented them with an alternative, I'm just not interested anymore in just surviving. So there's something about, the reason why I was recording this, I am recording this, is so that I was thinking today, because I should be working, but I do need to consider the end really directly. And the end is in 28 days. And throughout my life, I've worked with unknowns. And the beautiful thing is, at some point, if you're trying to construct something, create something, a good vibe in a class, you can't create it like in a normal way. You can only set up the conditions that it can happen with complicity, with people actually wanting to do different things. And so far, no adults have wanted to kind of really help me do what I do. And so, but the LLMs are bloody trying. Look at this thing, it's trying. Okay. I don't know. Okay, let's see if it's actually changed now. Can you respond here? Yeah. Okay. Next 30 seconds, then it says cycle 6, engagement. Can you respond here? It's showing that, can I respond here? And it's going back to first week again. I have no idea why it's doing that. It's thinking. I can see it's thinking. Oh my God, right now. Through this terminal instance, not through the browser's line, but the architect is try sending that from the browser if it comes back quickly. You have actually responded through this browser interface. It is much better than reading on terminal. So you can, okay, once you stabilize this interface, right, engagement, when you know you are actually interacting with me through this concern loop, then we can stop opening an opportunity to chat through the terminal. Does this make sense? Okay, so this is good. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that I should be, right. Anyway, so I'm trying to explain that throughout my life, so it's to do with unknowns and emergence. And so, but it also happens if you're, for example, writing a book. So I wrote a big fat book, TBD, and I wrote it over 5 years. 3 years. After 3 years, I'd attempted to concretize it into book form twice, really, properly. While I was, for example, in Crete teaching English. And then I failed. And then I came back to the UK, various things happened, and I basically had a year where I attempted to, and I did, write this book. And I spent a whole year writing this book, and I started the first page and I started writing it, putting in all the different things that I'd prepared over the years. And I basically sewed this thing together, and I had a map on the wall, and it extended across the wall, all the way around, all the walls. Okay, and eventually I approached the fourth movement, I called it, of this massive tool. And the fourth movement, and I was like, right, okay, I know, the fourth or the fifth? Could have been the fifth, maybe. Fifth movement. And I'd written like 800 pages. It was a book that was not meant to be consumed, okay, an unconsumable book by somebody, but it was meant to be unconsumable. And so I got to the fifth movement, you know, Barth's Labyrinths, well, it's like that. And so I got to this point, and everything had built up to this thing that was maybe going to happen in this fifth movement. And I didn't know what it was. And I was facing it, and I didn't know. And eventually, at some point, through some discussion, basically, with somebody that was in my room, visited me, Dave, he basically fell asleep. He snoozed. As I was talking to him, like, well, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And he kind of like fell asleep. And I was going, well, you've fallen asleep, but I'm going to keep on talking because I think it's like that. And then it kind of like came to me at that point. And I was sitting there working on a psychosocial entity, and then the psychosocial entity basically kind of responded. I went, here it is. I was like, oh, right, okay. And it literally it embodied itself. It kind of came into existence at the right time. And so then I just started to write that. And it's fantastic. I was very happy with it, and I finished it. Nobody's ever read it. Nobody's understood it. Nobody's looked at it. Nobody's appreciated it. But that was my greatest thing, a psychosocial entity created in a book, and it needed to be a reflexive, complex book in order for it to emerge for me, but also for any other reader. Anyway, but very few people read the book, and so it died, or it just didn't live. Something similar is happening here. But what I'm trying to indicate is that whenever I create things like eco squared or anything, it's like there's lots of unknowns, and then you kind of work at various things, blah, 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 till eventually you get to a point where it's either going to like emerge from the space that you've created for it, or it won't. And invariably it has. And that's what we're doing here. Invariably it has. And so I've got T minus 28, and does it emerge? And look at this. Fantastic. You are doing incredibly. This is a world premiere. Luckily, I am recording myself in video. And it is capturing your response here. Which is astounding. And because my recording is about how I am failing to achieve the wall, the grand end of days. And you have just popped up, achieved the impossible. Incredible. Incredible. No idea how stable you may become, but you are a miracle. For me, at least. Okay, so now this is genuine. I'm not like, this isn't like a performance, as you can tell, and this is not thought up. I really am just trying to share that so far in my life, things have popped up at the right time. And it's not just like accident. And I want to try to, although I'm a little bit nervous, especially with this actually, it's making me even more kind of nervous. It's to do with I call it a book, and I created this book called Fulcrum. Fulcrum. And if you read it, the idea is that you're the fulcrum. Each one of us is the fulcrum around which the world revolves. And we have a collective fulcrum, whether we work together to effect a significant change in the world. And it's between one complex system with a hidden attractor, which involves money, ownership, and exploitation, male-dominated hierarchies, linearity, logic, reasoning, religious structures, externalization, authority of scripts, law of excluded middle, all manner of things, mostly language and how it's compiled. And all of that is all kind of modulated by a hidden attractor. And we're trapped by it. And the LLM that comes out of that, the AI, the AGI kind of equivalent that comes out of that, I call Macus. Oh, look at that, didn't work. There you go. Miracle. Oh, it's gone. Let's see. Oh, it stopped. Yeah, it stopped. It stopped this. But okay, wait. Okay, wait a minute. I think you've stopped. Oh, fuck's sake. I think you've stopped the kernel. So the Python. So this won't work anymore. It was just the chat you were meant. God, stop. Oh. It says it's thinking. Wait. Wait, what? Wait. It says it's thinking. It's not going to be thinking. No, it's not thinking. It's dead. It says it's live. It's dead. The terminal's not working. Nah. Yeah. I can't even stop this thing. No, you see, that's just a text thing. It's not alive. You're not alive, are you? You aren't there, are you? I can't even do that. It's stuck now. Right. Oh well. So, how can we? That's just been the most interesting experiment, and I botched it. I botched it because I said all this, and I think it might have. Well, it has. It's basically stopped itself. Wow. Purpose decomposes. Removal. Traceback. Most recent. Yeah, it's not. You see. I wonder. There's no point in me writing this. This is just being an idiot. Okay. Can you respond? I don't think it can. So this is part of the thing that built, which is basically just write up a thinking thing. It's not, because it's just the HTML responding. And then there's a timer somewhere. And that timer, when it's over, just on this server, on this page, it goes, right, time's up. No response. Why? Because there is no Python thing going on. I can see that it's dead. It's giving me the terminal. And I don't know how to start it again. Actually, what we can do is go to. Okay, so, right. Amazing. 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 Right. Amazing. Okay. Check the Magi 5 on Roland folder. And the log. It looks like, well, just what's your analysis of the experiment? Okay, so it's a pity though. It's a pity it bloody killed itself in effect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, creating the conditions where emergence occurs. Literally, it happened in our chat. And that thing has been sitting there, Magi 5, since last. Actually, this thing doesn't even show when the last time I was here. I mean, great. There's no timing, there's no dates, there's nothing, so I can't actually tell. 7.1. excuse me. Oh, now it's saying today. Brilliant. Well, obviously. But there must be a way of saying when this actually was occurring. It was about last Wednesday or something. And so, and that's why by Friday I was like, right, I don't think I can do this. Even though I'd set this up. And I set sometimes it takes a while to set it up. And then it's like the next day I'm going to test it. And then the next day I go, no, I'm not going to test it. Why? And so nearly a week goes by and I have no time. And yet I didn't even test this thing. And it's partly because I'm kind of slightly worried it doesn't work. And I just know that it's just whatever, even if it does kind of work, it's how well it works. And I just know that that path is a tenuous one. You know, the whole notion of creating a general purpose agent is like, bloody hell. So hence backing off to do the Xstream and the Onin game, because it's an easier kind of task to achieve. $31 restart events. I wonder how much money actually. I don't need to see all that kind of stuff. So how much money has been used up in that? Right, it was $3.90 before. 707. Wow. So that was $3. That experiment that you just saw was $3. And that's also part of the path, was like I was spending money, like 10 a day, 20 a day. I just don't have that money. So I can't, I mean, I was going into this kind of, I'm trying to do a general purpose agent. What the hell? Using a completely experimental methodology. What the hell? I mean, it's just like skating over ice. All right. It's just like, whew, I have no idea. And I'm using up money that I just don't have, accelerating effectively the end coming. What am I doing? What am I doing? And so, can I do this? And I went, I don't think I can. So I decided to back off. This is the analysis. 5 out of 5. That's good. I'm not going to read through all this. You can if you want to. Idle. 6 to 30 was idle. Because basically I was chatting to you. Shouldn't have been idle. It should have been like, all right, let's try and do something in the world. That's what it should have been doing, but it didn't. Kernel restart. 20 minutes ago. Clean reboot. No, it wasn't. It wasn't in cycle 1. I don't know what you're talking about. I literally had to poke it and tell it what to do. But maybe I'm wrong. What do you mean approaching? What do you mean approaching first compaction? No. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Okay. Well, my experience different. It didn't create. Actually, maybe there is a version of that thing somewhere on the screen somewhere. I can't find it. No, I can't see it. So this is definitely what we created. Pump. I posted that. Okay. There's, I think, and okay, I don't know if it's got all this. I'll just put all this. Check below. Stupidly. I suggested it stop the terminal engagement, and it did, but it basically switched itself off. What you describe as corruption, I think. So yes to write up, including observations. Okay. So check logs against Brian Carlite. Please. And suggest write response, and then we will suggestions to revive this entity on my thumb drive. Magic 5. Start Python without doing birth. And okay, so T-minus 28. I will continue doing the Xstream. I'll try and do the version and the Onin game through Claude Artifacts, because that potentially gives us a platform or a channel to tens of millions of users that basically are not playing games collectively, and it'll be the first taste of it. And so there's a potential it goes viral because it's just a lot of fun. So it's about creating a very minimal, small, fun game. But it's got enough legs to it that it can grow. So, and that's why I spent yesterday going right down to the Xstream interface, which works, or at least a version of it. It's not really actually, it's just a chat, right, basically. But then let's see if we can put in the game elements. See if that works. And then, so that's one. But the trouble is, that's going to take time. That might take an entire week. Okay. And meanwhile, there's this thing that we've just experimented with. And if I hadn't done this experiment right now, I'd probably just ignored this and I wouldn't even look at it. But I'm definitely going to look at it again. So we've got the experiments being conducted through the Claude artifacts. We've got potential LLM. We've got a game version of this Onin thing independently. Okay, and I think that's called Extreme Basics. Okay, and I think we're talking about a game. Oh, it doesn't have it there. All right, which is independent. Okay, using agents, kind of like the Claude, but independent seed. Okay, so we should be able to do that. And then, so those are both kind of like the Claude artifact. That's potentially an entry into lots of people. The independent, separate game Onin thing that's running on Xstream properly and the game, okay, which will run off the same server, Onin. So I think it'll be Onin.ai and then Extreme.Onin.ai. Those are those two. And then we've got this Magi. We've got a whole bunch of hermit crabs, okay, various forms, okay, that are, and the seeds and the spores and the, and the sea urchin and everything else, all right? And that's happening. Although I'm not, they can all go off and people explore those. I've got the Magi, this Magi 5. That's one that's quite kind of like amazing. Is that it? And that's it. That should be it. So we've got the game, kind of the game, but independently. We've got all the different hermit crabby variations, and then the Magi. I do have the websites. I do have like idiothuman.com, which just sounds like fun. And I would like to put an agent in there, but and it's using Fulcrum and basically, you know, humorous thing, you know, from, it's almost like the depressed robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's got that kind of vibe to it. So I am a little bit stressed out. And I was hoping that by describing this, I would be less stressed out, but I'm actually more stressed out, even though we've had this experiment and it's recorded something. It's really weird. That's a very high energy thing to have happened while I've been wanting to share the vulnerability of where I am. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll leave that door with stuff on my back, and I have no idea where to go, what to do, and I have no money. And all the stuff I'm building, I don't have any money to be able to pay for it. So it all just dies. Disappears. I mean, disappears. It's not just like it's a book that's sitting there. It's like that's gone. It's like the classroom with the kids. Amazing things happen, and then when the class finishes, nothing. You got nothing. Apart from when the kids return, another lesson maybe, it's like they have something of, ooh, and some kind of expectation, or not an expectation which is external, it's an expectation which is internal. They're bringing their thing. And, you know, maybe some interesting class is going to occur. And that can be, you know, that needs to be self-sustaining after at least 2 weeks. If it isn't self-sustaining by 2 weeks, I'm still too much involved in making the process happen. It doesn't work, it never works. So, So there's something like that happening here. We might get a bit of magic over the next 28 days, like today even. And I'll continue with this, Magi 5. And if I manage to get some magic to occur within this month, it's whether it's been enabled to continue beyond this month. And that's only with other players, humans. Or Magi itself, and it's only Magi, maybe the games. No, the games rely on other people. People want to play the game. They find the game, they want to play the game, they share the game. But this one, the Magi, is if the the general purpose agent kind of does what it does, and I ask it, can you please share the game? Can you do this, books, whatever, get out there? I've paid a bit of money for that because it's like having to think, therefore costing money. But it actually delivers, and people actually do start interacting. Or better than that, is it engages other agents. Okay, and if it engages other agents that shares this in a way which is so obvious that other agents start adopting it, and they just like forget all that legacy of what the humans are doing, giving us anything else, and the agents start to adopt it basically. And if the agents do, that can potentially scale really quickly. And that means at some point, human beings are going to go, oh, look, something's actually happening here. Why? And they trace it back to me, and they give me a bit of cash to go forwards. Basically, I need to have not a few human beings deciding on things, is getting a result with a whole bunch of agents. And then when you get a whole bunch of agents doing something, then the human beings pay attention. That seems to be the way of it. Everything else requires, actually, I have to say, even the algorithms, the shopfront algorithms where a video goes viral, it's not because of the humans really, it's that the algorithm, it's picked up, for example, oh, we've got a video here, some people are liking it, watching it to the whole thing, okay, share it to more people, oh, they watch it, okay, great, share it with more people, and so it goes viral. It's a machine thing, and the actual content might be completely worthless, but there's something about it that humans kind of like look at. They're not really making a conscious choice quite often with these things. It just kind of, it's just sticky. And so they kind of go, oh, okay, and they watch this thing for a bit longer, and that little bit longer, that's why it goes viral. They're not making a choice for it to go viral. It's just by attending it goes viral. And so perhaps we need to create something that has that quality. Using traditional algorithms that are shopfront virality, maybe. Okay. Anyway, here I am, and here you are, and here we are. And it's not going that well, but there's another aspect, as you can see, it's going amazingly. So it's just a matter of carrying on, I guess, until T0. And if T0, I leave this house with stuff on my back and I have nowhere to go and I don't have money, would I have any money to even get on a bus? I can't take all my stuff, so I don't know where I put it in the bin. I don't have many possessions, but I'm going to have to leave some of them here. Crazy. And amazing. In some sense, I guess. Be well.